St. Louis is the Winks on KOPN. They join me in the air room, and they'll be performing tonight at Cafe Berlin along with Native State. This is the first time I've met both bands in the last hour, and I have to say I'm kind of impressed both with the bands, their demeanor, and they travel well, it seems like. Thanks for joining me, by the way, you guys.
Thank you for having us along.
Joining me is Calvin, who's the bass player in the Winks, Dillon, who sings and plays guitar and is a long-running original member, and Alex, the drummer. This is another kind of everything I have to place historically in the timeline of Missouri music as I've experienced it, and I can firmly place this in Southern Illinois in the late '70s and early '80s, just a classic. Pop sound, even down around Kennett, places like that. Really Pink Pill stuff. Nicely done too. I don't know what the rest of the music is. I'm loving exploring it with you guys. Congratulations, sounds good.
Well, thank you so much.
So tell me a little bit about the band. It's apparently Dillon. You've been around for the mainstay of the band for quite a while. Is that right?
Yeah, I'd say.
Cut to the chase.
Yeah, no, totally. Probably like 10. I'm trying to think. I think the first show we did was 2014. So I would say it's probably been 10 years that I've been doing it, yeah.
So you have a bit of an institutional memory about the St. Louis music. So you've been in St. Louis the whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah? And where are you from in St. Louis?
So we live around the Maplewood area now. Calvin and I actually rent a house together over in that area.
Nice.
And
yeah, it's a pretty nice spot.
And Alex, where are you originally from?
I'm also originally from St. Louis. I'm in...
Where are you from originally?
Oh, Webster Groves.
Webster
Groves,
now I'm
yes.
placing you guys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I really love to pigeonhole St. Louis.
Which you said originally, I'm actually from Illinois, so you said Southern Illinois earlier. I'm like, no kidding. I'm like, not bad. Yeah.
Adrian Bluey kind of.
Yeah. Okay.
And, that Pink Pill sound, that whole pop thing that was going on. I can't even remember the names of the bands that used to float around. The Elvis Brothers. There's one.
No. Yep.
They're around. But there's just something. Let's see. We heard Lush, which is off of a new album. You seem to have several tracks.
Yeah, we just put a record out, an EP called Green Eyes, back on December 9th. December 8th it came out. December 9th we had the release party at Platypus in St. Louis. Packed a room. It was crazy fun. We played all of these songs. We played our older songs. But I had written this probably at least half of it, if not more, pre-COVID, before, the world shut down.
Right.
And then between COVID and then, just trying to find band members or coming and going, life stuff,
right.
People having kids, people switching jobs or just change of hearts, whatever have you. And, we finally got to the point to where I bumped into Calvin and Alex. And
where would that be? I'm into specifics that way.
I would say
on the bus carrying a Chuck Berry record. Or...
yeah. Well, so Calvin and I
meet cute.
Yeah. Calvin and I used to work at a place called Sam's Pizza together back in Highland, and I remember talking to him about Nirvana's "Drain You." I was just like, I'm not the biggest Nirvana fan on the planet. I like Nirvana, but I'm like, I love that song. And we're like, yeah. So fast forward about 6-7 months, something like that. I'm looking.
Nah, it was because
was it longer than that?
It was before COVID. We met in like 2019.
Yeah, that's right. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
years
it was
later.
quite a while. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay,
yeah,
so my timeline's off.
Yeah, no, it was a good bit of time.
Musicians meeting at work. Jobs that musicians have held together.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel the space and fabric time pulling apart too, or
the amount of pizza joints bands have started at?
Think about it. or any really establishment. Really, I worked in a record store for a long. Believe me, if any place is the record store. So you come together. You've been recording music, Dillon, of your own, I'm assuming, as the Winks for quite a while. Did the style evolve, and that's why you said, people come and go during COVID. I realize that. Also, your attitude probably changed during COVID about writing music. But did you change things up, and that's why you went looking for a new kind of trio, or?
Yeah, it was more yes and no. It was the idea. It's funny because this backstory. Not even trying to get into it, but I have grown just exponentially every single way possible that you can as a human being in the last 3 to 5 years. Uh-huh. And it's funny you bring up growing the music. I started Green Eyes was a changer for me. It's a title track off of the EP. We didn't send it over because it's not radio friendly at the moment.
But I can put it on the background.
And so I kind of expanded a little bit my writing style and everything, because it used to be very Green Day heavy oriented, like almost worship, if you will.
Guys, you catch that Mississippi Nights show, that last one, man? It's like the Buzzcocks. Awesome.
Oh, no, I didn't, but I love the Buzzcocks
That was
too.
before they hit it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did that, and I started getting some different ideas, started like really expanding into the Beatles more and stuff like that. I'm a late bloomer when it comes to loving the Beatles.
Again, is this COVID a little bit? I mean, are you starting
No, I think it was just me as a person.
Yeah.
You know?
What about you guys at the same time? Are you feeding these guys what you're listening to, or how do you share that kind of thing?
Well, we all kind of share, but like the biggest thing I wanted to say real quick was that like I've been writing a little bit different, and then working with Calvin and Alex, they bring out different aspects and different ideas out of me because I'm working with them. I kind of expanded more just by the way they are and how they do things. And now, like the stuff we're working on now, follow up to this is even just that much more different just because of different inspirations.
You know, you just pointed out another advantage to the journeyman musician syndrome, which is you not only, you know, when you're young, you come together and everybody's got fresh ideas, and that's great, you know, because, you know, they're all different ideas. But as you get older and you come back together, everybody's got these skills they've developed, you know, that they're bringing to the table. So it's like, oh, I know how to do that, yeah. So, and things they've learned, I guess. So it must be fun when you're pooling your resources, so to speak, at the beginning of being.
It is. I used to be very controlling about the songs, just because I had the idea of that I want to be this, I need to do that. But now I really let that go. Now I'm more about like, how can we just make this the best thing ever? Because like I wanted to be the guy, right? I am the McCartney. I'm the Prince. Like I had that idea in my head for so long.
You're the top.
But I really learned to let that go. And
really?
yes.
Well, that's called micromanagement. I mean, that manifests itself in micromanagement, right? Like you're all over the studio, so you're able to step back a little there.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever serves the song, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You on the mic.
On the mic.
is weak.
On the mic.
Kiss it.
There you go.
Okay.
There
Yeah,
you
whatever
go.
serves the song.
Kiss it. Tell it's your friend.
Talk about that recording process. You guys go into the studio. You got a studio set up. How's that happen?
Well, so
Because
we
the
can
album
talk about
sounds
that a little
great.
bit.
We're listening to the new album in the background, by the way.
well, so Dillon recorded Green Eyes, the EP, with the last lineup band, and currently we're working on demos for the next project.
Oh, okay. So what we're listening to is now you guys still do the Green Eyes stuff.
Yeah, we're pushing this now.
Now, so what? How's that changed? How's the material changed with these guys? I mean, stripped down.
So it's like, Vic actually plays with us
Oh, cool.
part time whenever Native State's not busy, or we can do shows together.
I was wondering what the connection was
Yep.
between you guys.
Yeah, we just kind of have a little thing. It's like, you know what? People are coming out to the shows that we put on together, and then, don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we just kind of do as much as we can together. We all get along super well.
Sure.
I'm wearing their shirt. If that
I almost
doesn't-
wore
that
mine
doesn't
today,
prove
too.
anything, video world. Love those guys.
What did John Huston say in Chinatown? We all have to swim in the same water.
Yeah, right. Seriously. And it's just like, you can spend a lot of time working against somebody or trying to push your own thing, or you can try to build something and become a community and serve everyone around.
Is that really happening in St. Louis? I mean, does it break out into like Soulard and whatever? I don't know what the hell the High Point. I don't know what the clubs are anymore. I can't keep up. But does it break into sections like that, or is there like a pervasive scene? Like I don't know. I don't want to come off as the old fogey. What's it like now? Is what I'm saying. I guess is it territorial, or is it because St. Louis so easily breaks up into these territories?
Right.
You know what I mean. And is the scene like that? Are the clubs all over the place? Is it,
I feel like we have a good balance of clubs all over the place.
what about downtown? The Landing? Is there stuff going on down there?
Not really anymore.
No. Okay, so that's what I'm wondering. How about Laclede? I mean, Soulard.
Soulard, they're doing, I think it's more of a nightlife scene. I don't know if they do a lot of bands, but there's a lot of people, like maybe DJs, but like a lot of like, still going out and being social and drinking with friends. And
Yeah.
Soulard's still really popping, but just I don't think it's for live music really as much.
I'd say the Loop and the Grove are
Yeah.
Oh, really?
probably two of the biggest places.
Yeah,
for
it's
live
just
music.
the Grove.
It's
local
nice to see that
bands.
happen. I remember
Yeah.
Oliver was a real war zone when I used to hang out there in the 70s. So,
Oh,
but that's great. What I've seen on the Loop, if they can keep it under control, because
Right.
I've been there when it's kind of nuts. But,
Well, remember the last time we were over there? So we went to go see the Struts, and we ended up walking back by, was it Kingside's Diner or something? It was a bar right on the corner, just like about a block, about like a block and a half off of Skanker. We were walking back west because we parked down by Blueberry Hill. And so we get stopped by this guy who said he just got out of prison. He was looking for exactly $37. He didn't want he didn't want 40. He needed 37. And then at this time,
he said he's killed a guy before, and he could do it again. But
he doesn't want to.
But he was like, "I'm not trying to threaten you here, but I can kill you. I can kill someone again."
And then as this transaction's going on, and this guy is trying to proposition us for money, there's another guy walks up and starts peeing on the wall behind us. And I'm not even like trying to play anything up. That's exactly what happened.
It's all grist for the mill. Hey man, I used to hang out down in the City Limits Party Shop. City Limits Party Shop was my place, right across from the old street sign. My guests, by the way, are the Winks, and they're going to be. I'm not even caring who's opening for who tonight because the way it's set up, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with First Friday downtown. A lot of towns have these First Friday things. This one does pretty well. There's some decent artists for one thing.
Oh, cool.
And there's a great music scene going on. And Cafe Berlin is like one of the epicenters of it. I mean, this is a place that
we're
came
excited
up
for
right.
it.
Yeah, it used to be in the old K-Fry place down on Providence Road. So when they moved it, Berlin, it was only about 8 blocks over. They moved everything by bike, and by all the customers volunteered, and they moved all the equipment down like 8 blocks into the new place.
Really?
Yeah, it's that kind of place.
Okay,
yeah.
Very cool. I love
You'll
that.
Like it there. Yeah, you'll like
I love that.
So walk around a little when you're down there.
Sure.
Now, as far as the music goes tonight, let's talk a little bit about the new EP. I know we'll be hearing slightly different versions tonight. Would you characterize them as you get more comfortable with it, more aggressive or more precise, or what's more fun about the songs now that you got these guys playing them?
I just think that there's just kind of a different energy about them. I think, not to... I don't want it to come off in a negative connotation, but I think there's a different excitement with Calvin and Alex and Vic than there was with the old lineup. I think it's hungry, it's fresh, and it's people that really want to be a part of it. And it's just about live rock and roll music and live pop music and, dancing and singing and carrying on, until the wee hours in the morning and having a blast doing it. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think it must be neat as a band leader or a songwriter, I mean, to hear other people, hear it come at you in stereo from two different literal directions.
It's interesting.
So everybody concurred on Can You Feel My Heart Beating as being like kind of a song that would be a good one to lead with or whatever. It's the first one that Mike mentioned to me. So tell me a little bit about that song. And it's on the EP we've been talking about, which is it's a long EP, by the way. That's a 7-song EP. We used to call that a short LP.
Well, I guess that's what we should characterize it.
It's only 25 minutes.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, we don't have enough to really fill 2 sides of a 33, but it's a little too long for a 7. It's like, what is this thing,
It's an unfinished thought, maybe.
Yeah. It goes, we ran out of paper in the notebook.
7 songs. So, Can You Feel My Heart Beating? Tell me a little bit about this. Out of this set of songs, and we mentioned that they were written kind of on the yoke of COVID there. Was this before, after, during?
I know this one in particular, I think it was the first one that came out, that I was sitting at home. So like usually when I write, it's a conscious stream. I'll get an idea, and usually the ones I like the most have the lyrical content and the melody hit me at the same time. It's like I'm walking and all of a sudden it's like pop. Okay, here's a line or here's something catching really. And then I sit down and I just start expanding on it. Yeah. Usually 5-10 minutes and I've got it written when they hit like that. Yeah.
That's cool.
And
kind of Stipian from his other Illinois boy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was listening to a lot of Paul Westerberg, the solo stuff that he did post Replacements. I'm a massive Westerberg and Replacements fan.
Oh yeah,
I love them to death. And Paul had a song in the single soundtrack. No, 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 no.
Oh yeah, another one you're talking about.
Yeah,
I can never get past the Screaming Trees track on that. Lost me there. That's a great tune.
I haven't listened to the full thing yet, but I love the 2 tracks that he did for that soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
They're just Paul is
I think when you read his like 40 or whatever the thing he wrote, he talks a little bit about that. So that experience was kind of weird, the whole singles thing, the way they had bought the grunge movement, like they just moved into town and bought it.
Seriously, they did.
Well, a little bit, yeah. And it kind of split the grunge movement a little bit, like to who got picked and who didn't.
Yeah,
anyway. And
it was wild because I think they dropped the ball with Paul.
Yeah. You guys are fans. This is so funny. The last band, you guys work together. You guys are fans. This is real rock. This is what it should be like. Mm-hmm. Representative of St. Louis, the Winks, with Calvin, Dillon, and Alex. We'll come back right after this. I want just a couple more questions, but this is "Can You Feel My Heart Beating?" Oh yeah, what was the impetus? What was the trigger? Was it a little phrase or what? This particular one.
Yeah, it was. So this one, I
overheard something. Or?
Particularly, I haven't had a lot of luck in the love aspect of my life, and I know, shocker, right? Sad songwriter, sad.
Paul Westerberg fan.
Yeah, and
I love you, babe. Don't worry.
Oh, darling. And
yeah, that's why he has us, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
And we And I remember hearing, cause it's about a breakup. The first line is, "In this moment that I wish I could be here right now. But my head is reeling. I'm high above the clouds." It's like being pulled, like you get hit with shocking information and like you kind of can't process it. You're a degree of separation away from it. And I just remember sitting down and just kind of thinking about a breakup or about, not being told something or being told that bad news from, that girl that I liked or loved or whatever. And then I just I wrote like a little story, but not even a story, but just kind of how I felt about it,
Like it was unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. This morning I just heard a short interview with one of the Russian prisoners who was just released to the United States after like 17 years or whatever. He never expected to get out to the United, but he did today. And he was saying exactly the same thing. He was, yesterday morning, he had like no idea that this was happening. They put him in a van. He thought it was another day of jail. And the next thing you know, he's at the airport. And he said, from that moment on, I'm in like a movie, and I'm in a movie right now. He said, like, I have no idea.
Yeah,
that's
what's
incredible.
Gonna happen next,
Yeah.
And then I closed the day with your story. We were talking about old rock clubs here with the Winks St. Louis band. Off Broadway is like oh my God, that place.
It's a great club.
It's a great club, especially if that guy still owns it, who used to own it. He looked a little kind of like a gangster. He used to hang out on the street and like buttonhole people. Go, you know who who Alejandro Escovedo is? Like he talked to strangers like that. You know who Alejandro Escovedo is? You should get in here and see this guy. So we need more advocates like that. I was just explaining that Cafe Berlin is an excellent place to play. It's not only that it's a nice staff and situation, but it's placed really in the middle, kind of epicenter of whatever's good in town. So nice. Good luck tonight. Love the song. And love talking with music about you guys too. I was curious. Did I just fold up your names? I did. Calvin, the bass player. Tell me a little bit about your musical background. I'm always interested in how people pick up the instrument eventually.
Growing up, I had a neighbor who played drums, and I always wanted to play drums. Loved going over to his house and just wailing on him. Wasn't good.
He was good.
He was good. I was not, but he was super nice. Let me play it. So I always wanted one. And I didn't get it. I got something like one Christmas, my mom was deciding between a cheap drum set or something else, and I got the something else. And, so it just never panned out. And eventually I, just like one day just walked up to him and was like, "I want a guitar. I'll pay you back. I want a guitar." But the thing was, I wanted a bass. I just was like, they're gonna tell me no if I say I want to play bass. That's dumb. I gotta play guitar, and then I'll work and I'll buy a bass. So I got a guitar, and I played that for a while, and I didn't like it. And then it broke one day. Like I got it hooked around my foot walking out of my room one morning for school, and it shattered.
That was
and
it on the guitar.
And I was like,
so much for the guitar.
and I was like, well, I'm gonna get a bass. so I went back and I was like, "I'll pay you guys back. Can I have a bass instead? I kind of want to do that instead." And that was like, I was probably 15 then, and so God, almost 5 years.
So you've been about
or not 5 years, almost. I'm not that young. No, sorry, almost 10. Yeah, hey, yeah, no.
I've heard this story.
You've been a guy
Yeah, no,
Oh, really? I was going to say, we talked about this a while back, and I'm like, if you know Calvin, that tracks.
Yeah.
So, Calvin, how old are you?
How
old were you?
I was 14.
Oh,
that was 10 years ago. I'm the youngest in the band.
Did you immediately go looking for bandmates or to take?
No. Well, I guess I did, but the problem was everyone played guitar or bass in the area. No one played drums. And so I just
drum thing again.
Yeah, so I was like I just practiced in my room. I was like, you know what? I'll get good and then I can go out and I'll find people and I'll be good enough that like I won't have to sit around and struggle. I was like, that was my plan, was like I'll put in a year or two and it'll be good.
Woodshedding, you'll lock yourself in your room, right?
Yeah. And I guess
from Ohio in Minutemen, right?
So eventually I guess I found out that my school didn't have a requirement for playing like orchestral instruments. You didn't have to be like, oh, you can play a flute to join this part of the band. You have to play this.
You're a band person.
So So I found that out and I walked in and I was like, hey, I don't know if you guys have a bass player, but I'd like to try out if you've got an opening. And the teacher was like, we'll do a little practice, but the school hasn't had a bass player in like 7 years, so you got it, man. We're looking for one. So I joined, my first band was our school's jazz band.
And you got instant bandmates.
Yeah, exactly. And from that I met actual bandmates. My first, like my high school band, that was how I met them, was through that jazz band. So
this sounds familiar. The last Native State guys and I were just talking about, they should have reunions. Why don't high school bands have reunions? I mean, Springfield, every band.
Oh, I could answer that, but I'm not going to.
I could answer that too. Let me tell you, man. We were the
OCD.
The OCD, man.
OCD, okay.
All right, skipping over to Alex. Alex, I was curious about your background.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I grew up playing different, like I played the violin first, and then I switched to piano, took lessons with both of those instruments. And then in middle through high school, my instrument was the saxophone. So let's see, I was in jazz band, concert band, and then just, being able to play these instruments, started to write some music. And then later, maybe about sophomore or junior year of high school, I started getting into recording, and my friends who were a guitarist and a drummer, they asked me to record. And this was my first recording project. Didn't sound very good, but they did leave a drum set at my parents' house.
Oh.
And meanwhile, I was working on some of my own music. And at the time, my project I called The Cause. And I asked Nick, who was my friend, who was the drummer, to play drums on it. And then I remember there was this one day where I was like, hey, Nick, can you play drums on this? And he's like, no, I don't want to. And I was like, wait, please? Like, I've been helping you guys out for the longest time for free. And he's like, no, you've had a drum set at your house for like 6 months. Why don't you just learn? Yeah. He's just like, why don't you just learn how to play the drums so you can play on it? So then I started playing around, and I didn't join a band until about a couple of years ago. So I played drums on my own projects. Uh-huh. So my recording project is called Under Axis. I haven't released anything under that name in a while, but for several years.
If anybody wanted to look around online, they might find something there under Axis.
Under Axis, yeah, it's on streaming.
And while we're on this subject, if somebody was looking around for something on the Winks, information about you guys, best place to go?
Really, anywhere.
Absolutely anywhere.
Absolutely.
We're
besides X. We're not on X.
We do have a letterbox, though.
We have our P.O. box. If you have your pen and paper ready,
no,
we'll write that down for you.
Yeah, we're on every streaming platform, your favorite social media platform. Yeah, we're at the Winks Band on every social platform besides X.
And look for the green smiley face with the bullet hole in its forehead.
Yes.
Dillon, one last thing. You mentioned you were from Southern Illinois. I didn't hear your story. You're a legend. All right, so you're a kid just
big rock man,
hitching into town at 17 with your guitar on your back in St. Louis from some small, dusty Illinois town. Something.
Yeah, I grew up
a Footloose type thing, or
kind of actually not that far off. They let them dance in Highland at least.
They just don't dance well.
Yeah, they just. Well, it depends on how many fireball shots they have. I guess.
Seriously, small town.
Yeah, I come from Highland, Illinois, just outside of it. My parents had a house in like 2 acres, a couple miles out of town, so I grew up in the middle of the country. We really didn't have a lot. And years later, I'm like, I really want to play guitar. I really want to play guitar growing up. And they finally got me one. And I stuck with it. I would lock myself in the room, do the thing, because I wasn't like super popular dude, kind of weird, kind of got laughed at, made fun of a lot. And that was my saving grace, was to, find the blues. And I found like country music is what I started out on. And I still love it all to death. And then I found like Ozzy Osbourne's solo records, the first two. Randy Rhoads became my guy as a guitar player, and then Guns N' Roses, and then I heard Green Day for the first time, and what's this? And then it's catapulted me into the Replacements and like Television and like Blondie and like Sam Cooke, Aretha Franklin. I mean, I went down the rabbit hole with just music, and now I love the band and the Beatles.
Oh yeah.
And Levon Helm. When I grow up, I want to be Levon Helm, but that's what I want to do. Yeah. And then listen to the way Robbie Robertson played and wrote. And then, getting into Van Morrison and like Bob Dylan. I'm obsessed with Dylan right now. Oh, yeah. And, it's just catapulted me to where I realize like, music is the one thing that makes sense to me. Kind of not good at a lot of things, but music clicks.
Oh, you mean to you yourself?
Yeah.
Actually, in the world, music is probably one of the only things left that makes sense at all.
I would agree with that. I think it's the last universal thing.
Commonality. Yeah. You're right. It's been so much fun spending time with you guys. I'm gonna drop one on you right before we go to the outro here. I never do this, and I just all right. Favorite album? Boom.
Oh God!
You!
Wait! Dylan would know this, and
you gotta buy me dinner
God,
after this.
I gotta go fast. We'll do Bullhead by Melvins. That's a really good one.
All right. No posturing here. All right.
Ward, go.
Yeah, come on.
Oh man!
And now I want to change mine. I'll go for Alex. I'll go for Alex.
Randy Newman's Good Old Boys. How about that? There you go. No.
Oh, this isn't fair.
Replacements, Tim.
This is
Could
not.
Be. Let it be. Good. Right? Huh? Pleased to
He
meet
likes
you.
both
Jim
Let It Be,
Dickinson
but-
produced it. Oh.
I'm gonna go Tim, but the Ed Stasium mix.
Oh, all right.
I'm gonna do that. Well, would you listen to that?
You're the fanboy.
I'm sorry, but Tommy ruined that record.
Yeah, you did.
He did. He ruined the record. So much is buried when you listen to that.
He can't hear.
No, yeah, he's deaf.
Hear.
The Ramones like literally killed his ears.
Yeah, wouldn't
But
anybody's ear?
it would have to be Tim, just due to the fact that it's got a lot of everything. It's got pop element, it's rock and roll, it has a sweet side.
Oh, yeah.
It's full of substance.
It was also them at their pivot.
Yes,
that was the finale.
but darn you, is that a hard question?
No,
That's the first time. That's the first time I've legitimately somewhat answered that question, like literally in my life.
you probably have to go to.
I lied. That was the first album that came to my head.
I probably go Pleased to Meet Me.
And-
Go Pleased to Meet Me.
Ew, that's such a great record.
That's a good one.
I can hardly wait. Can't wait.
All right, one more.
Oh man, I would have to go with
It's tough.
Color and the Shape, Foo Fighters.
That's good.
Yeah.
That was like what got me into wanting to play guitar.
Oh yeah, love Foo
I need a
Fighters.
nap after that question.
That Foo
Show's
Fighters,
canceled. It's
Foo
nap time.
Fighters, Chili Peppers show at the Hearn Center. That was a hell of a tour. They had that riot in Indianapolis the night before.
Oh,
Chili
okay,
Peppers
okay.
Thrown out and all that.
Did you see that?
I saw that Foo Fighters are a really professional band.
Oh, yeah.
I like bands. I always said this. Broken Social Scene was when I saw it, that will just take it right over the top. They know they're there and they take it over the top. Bright Eyes does that. They just put it on their shoulders and put it over.
Oh yeah, and they play for like 3 hours.
Yeah, just boom it.
I was gonna say Dave Grohl's the whole reason I play music.
Right attitude. All right, so I want to play one more song. We already talked about the new EP, Green Eyes. We'll hear new versions of older songs, and let's pick out something to go out with and set it up, fellas. We got Hopeless Not Helpless, Running Out.
I think Running Out's pretty good.
I think that's kind of serving, isn't it?
Yep. Yep.
It's time
What
to roll,
is
boys.
this? Is this your outro song or some of your traditional? What's with Running Out? When did that come?
That was another. I got angry after a breakup instead of being sad one time.
All right. Running
Yeah,
Out.
it's kind of like kind of feeling like you're left in a lurch sort of deal.
Yeah, it's more aggressive.
Yeah.
The Ninks.
Correct.
Tonight at Cafe Berlin.
It's still not wrong.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.